My father once told me a story so terrifying that he kept it hidden for over 30 years. A story from when he was a teenager in the mountains of Laos. A story he said was far scarier than any ghost or spirit. Because ghosts, he said, usually can't harm you. But what he encountered had already killed people he knew. This is just not a ghost story. This is a warning, passed from father to son and now to you. My father was born in the remote mountains in northern Laos, a place he calls the land of a million elephants. It was wild, beautiful, and unforgiving. My father is Hmong, part of a mountain people, an ethnic group that migrated from southern China generations ago. They lived high in the clouds, farming on steep hillsides, raising livestock, and relying on each other for survival. Life was hard, but in the mountains, you were free. No government, no roads, no outsiders, just the land, the spirit, and your own strength. In the 1960s, my father was in his early teens. Every day was the same rhythm. Work the rice fields at sunrise, break at noon for a hearty lunch, then rest in the shade before returning to work. One brutally hot afternoon, after lunch, he lay down inside the small thatch hut that his family built beside their field. He closed his eyes and drifted into a deep, heavy sleep. What happened next, he would spend his whole life questioning. In his sleep, he found himself standing beside the rice field. The air was still, but something felt strange, like the world was holding its breath. Then he heard footsteps behind him, slow, deliberate, crunching through dry grass. He turned and saw an elderly man he had never met before. The man was glowing with a faint, pale aura, not bright, just enough to make him look unreal. Yet my father felt no fear. Somehow, he sensed the old man meant him no harm. My father asked him gently, "Grandfather, who are you?" The old man didn't answer. Instead, he asked a question back to my father. "Son, do you want to be rich? Do you want success? If you do, I can help you." My father froze. This was not a normal question, not from a stranger, and certainly not in a dream. The old man continued, "I left my treasure near your field. I know where it is. If you want it, I'll show it to you." Even in his dream, my father felt his stomach tighten. In Hmong culture, spirits rarely offer something without wanting something in return. So he answered carefully, "Grandfather, I'm just a poor farmer. I don't know what to do with your treasure. I don't want it." The old man smiled, almost as if he was relieved. He raised his hand and pointed toward a thick clump of trees on the far edge of the field. He said, "If you ever change your mind, the treasure is hidden in the center of those trees." Then the man turned, began walking away, and slowly faded until he vanished completely. My father woke up instantly, covered in sweat, his heart racing, his arms numb. The dream felt too real. He swore he can still feel the old man's presence standing inside the hut with him. That evening, my grandfather noticed how shaken he was and asked what was wrong. My father told him everything. Grandpa listened silently. He didn't interrupt. He didn't question. When the story ended, he finally said, "It is good, very good that you refuse. Treasure like that always has a price." Then Grandpa shared something my father had never known. Many years ago, there's been rumors of buried treasures near our village here. People from far away has come to search for it, but the elders warned that such treasure was never meant to be taken. Months passed. The dream slowly faded, but the fear stayed with my father. One day, two brothers from their village appear on the narrow trail leading to my family's field. The older brother was bold, a risk taker, always chasing opportunities. The younger brother was quiet, timid, and followed his older brother everywhere. Both were carrying shovels and enough supplies to camp outside for several days. They stopped by the hut, shared lunch with my father's family, and asked permission to cross the fields. They wanted to search for buried treasure in the very same clump of tree that the old man has pointed to my father in his dream. My grandfather hesitated, but agreed. My father wanted to warn them about the dream, but he held back. He didn't want them to think or be offended that he was trying to claim their stake. Still, he managed to whisper to the younger brother, "There's a bad spirit in those trees. Please be careful." The younger brother nodded anxiously. After lunch, the two brothers headed straight into the thicket. Within minutes, the sound of digging echoed across the field. Then, 2 hours later, everything went silent. Moments later, shouts erupted. Joy, excitement, and disbelief. My father rushed over with other villagers. What he saw would haunt him for the rest of his life. The brothers were waist deep in a huge pit that they dug. In front of them were old wooden crates, overflowing with silver bars and silver coins, real treasure, a fortune. Next to the crates, leaning against the back of the hole, was a human skeleton, wrapped in decaying black fabric. The villagers gasped. Some backed away. Some whispered prayers. Everyone knew what this meant. Someone long ago has been killed and buried with the treasure. They were its guardian, its spiritual protector, its curse. But the brothers didn't care. They ignored the remains completely. They didn't even bother to refill the hole or rebury the body. They just grabbed the silver and walked away. The villagers were horrified. What the brothers had done was not only taboo, but it was inviting disaster. So my father's family and the villagers quietly reburied the skeleton, covered the grave, and said prayers. But even after leaving the trees, the air felt heavy, wrong, tainted. That night, many villagers refused to enter their homes before being spiritually cleansed. They all felt something terrible has been set loose. A few weeks later, tragedy struck. The younger brother was working outside his home when he suddenly collapsed from a severe headache. His nose began to bleed profusely. No herbal medicine could stop it. By sunset, he drifted into unconsciousness. By morning, he was gone. Massive blood loss. His body remained lifeless. At the same time, the older brother, not knowing what happened to his younger brother, had traveled to a nearby town with some of the silver, wanting to buy goods and to enjoy the life he always dreamed of. When he didn't return, his family started to worry. Days later, words arrived. He has been robbed and shot to death on his journey. His body was found hidden under bush along the trail. The bag of silver was gone. Two brothers, both gone at the same time, a great loss to their families, but a haunting warning to the entire village. And for the rest of the treasure, no one knows. Their families refuse to keep it. Some say they reburied it. Others say they threw it into a ravine. But the village made one decision. No one would speak of the brothers again. After the story, my father explained the grim tradition behind buried treasure in the mountains. In the old days, there were no banks. There were no place where you can store your money safely. Wealthy people buried their riches in secret places. But money alone wasn't enough to protect their wealth. So some of them committed horrific acts. They tricked someone, often someone poor or mentally challenged, to gain their trust, then kill them, burying the body with the treasure as an eternal guardian. A spiritual contract, a curse bound by blood. So when the villagers saw the skeleton, they all understood. That treasure was never meant for the living. Touching it meant certain death. I asked my father after he told me this story. I said, "Since the spirit came to you, did he want you to have the treasure? If you had taken it, would you have been safe?" My father shook his head immediately. "No. Nothing from the spirit world is ever free. If you accept something, that will always come back for payment." He looked at me and said, "I was a poor farmer, but I had a good life. Wealth like that only brings trouble. Greed blinds people, and the spirits know it." This story isn't just about treasure. It's about choices, warnings, and the price of ignoring them. If you made it to the end of this story, thank you. These aren't just ghost tales. They're cultural memories, warnings, and the beliefs our family carry across oceans. If you want more true stories from Asian and Asian American communities, from huntings to family legends, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and share your own story in the comments. Your story might be the next one I tell here on Asian American Ghost Stories. Until then, stay safe, stay curious, and remember, not all spirits mean you harm, but not all offers should be accepted as well.